Hi boys and girls, Brucey here again with another guitar creativity tip for guitar playing and practicing. And today I'm going to talk all about the loop pedal. I really think that having a loop pedal or some form of looping, there are lots of apps out there, even if you use your smartphone just to create loops, it's probably one of the most important teaching tools that you can get your hands on. And yeah, you can do it in a looper pedal, and that can be really handy because you can access it by foot switching and turn things on and off and record your loops. But don't be put off. There's free software out there. There's Audacity. I'll put some links to some of these in the bottom before. If you've got an iPad, there's GarageBand. All these things enable you to record audio and trim them and create loops and just keep those loops circling and circling. Why is that important as a teaching tool? Well, for so many reasons. One of the things I certainly use it for with students is playing over chord backgrounds, just creating simple chord backgrounds and then hearing the flavors of all the notes in different scales and different modes and how they fit over those chords and how they create harmonic extensions. If you're playing a C chord, for example, and then you put in a D note, which is the ninth, for example, what does that sound like? And by looping it round and round, you can start to get a flavor of what these sounds sound like, what these chord extensions sound like, and what the notes sound like in context when you're improvising, creating simple chord loops of one or two chords, trying to play over the changes. They can also help you develop your own ideas. You can just be sitting there for ages and just loop an idea around, come up with new melodies. They can help you with your timing because a lot of them, like these, or even if you're using an app such as GarageBand or Logic, have a metronome built in, so you can get your metronome going. You can start to learn how to play in the pocket against beats. You can try different phrasing exercises. You count in maybe an 2-bar loop and just try different phrasing exercises. Start on the 1. Start on the 3, start on the 3 and, make a little melody up and then start on different aspects of the beat. So you're getting your counting going down and you're experimenting as well. They're probably the most important tool as a student that you could probably buy. And I fully recommend either buying a loop pedal for its ease of, being able to switch things on and off. But at the end of the day, it's not that important because, there are loads and loads of apps out there which do the same thing. But get looping, record some simple chord progressions, try playing scales over them, different scales, different modes, or even, if you're a little bit unsure, play a C chord and then find the C note, which is, the third note of the third fret of the A string or the 8th fret of the E string, and just play every single note against it. The flat and second, what does that sound like? The 7th, the flat 6, what do they all sound like against that note, and you'll get an idea of the sounds that you kind of like. I really advocate that as an exercise. So yeah, loop pedals, awesome.